Hello everyone, good morning. Today in this lecture I will be speaking to you on sequencing. It is third unit topic. In the sequencing, normally when we try to look at manufacturing systems, in general, common way of operations may be either flow shop or job shop. A flow shop is an indication that all the jobs will flow just like a single flow. Will be going through all the set of operations, the machines, or otherwise maybe sometimes there may be skipping of some of the operations, but the route, the flow is fixed. Whereas job shop, each job has its own route and it cannot be known in advance. The job, when it comes to the processing, then only it can be known. These two systems normally will be treated as general manufacturing systems. We are not going to talk about all this, but we will be talking about some basic operations. How do we pick up for processing under these two categories of machines, machining of manufacturing systems. Now, the unit has the following topics to be discussed. We need to discuss flow shop sequencing, where we need to look at n jobs through 2 machines and also n jobs through 3 machines. Job shop sequencing, 2 jobs through m machines, that has to be addressed through graphical method. In this lecture, I will be speaking to you introduction to the sequencing and flow shop sequencing today in this lecture, where we will be discussing n jobs through 2 machines, n jobs through 3 machines. Let us first look at what is sequencing. It is find an optimal order of different jobs to be processed on finite number of facilities in a specific order. In simple terms, arrangement of jobs for processing, that is called as sequencing, with the objective that has to be minimized total cost or time that is given in the problem. So sequencing refers to determining order of processing jobs or tasks given in hand. Scheduling refers to assignment of start and completion times to a particular job or a person or equipment in the problem. Sequencing deals situations for finding effective measure, where we need to look at either it may be time or cost or distance in a given problem as a function of the order or sequence of performing given set of jobs or tasks in the problem. Let us assume that there are n jobs that are to be processed on a single machine. Theoretically, there are n factorial possible ways. For example, let's say 4 jobs in 4 factorial ways, that is 24 sequences or arrangement of jobs or order of jobs that can be taken for processing, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4 and so on. But we don't know which one is best in terms of the effective measure. Finding the total time requirement is, processing time requirement is minimum. The total time of processing is minimum. That is also called as elapsed time of starting activity and closing your last job and last mission. Let us say n jobs require processing of m different machines that can be taken for processing theoretically in n factorial to the power of m possible ways or sequences. For example, let us suppose 4 jobs to process on 5 machines. That gives us 79 lakhs 62,624 possible ways to process. That is 7.9 million approximately possibilities for arranging the jobs so that can be taken for processing on 5 machines. Impossible to solve in a normal computation or normal your analytical methods. So there are some ways, heuristics, algorithms that we will be discussing in this unit. So basic assumptions, the simple assumptions what we make when we try to solve the sequencing problems are as follows. Only one operation is carried out on a machine at a time. Remember, an operation must be completed once it starts on a particular first machine. Once it starts, it has to go through all the processing facilities and it has to exit after completing. An operation must be completed before the succeeding operation can start. An operation must be completed before the succeeding operation can start. Only one machine of each type is available. That's the assumption. A job is processed as soon as possible, but only in the processing order that is specified in the problem. Processing times are independent of order of performing operations. Each job has its own processing time on each of the machines, whatever we are considering for arrangement of jobs, but those processing times are independent of performing operations. Transfer of a job between machines is instantaneous, that is the transportation time between two machines is negligible, that is assumption is basic assumption. But that is can be relaxed when you try to look at in advanced problems and you try to look at solving using advanced algorithms. Jobs are completely known in advance and ready for processing at the period under consideration, that is starting at the start of your period. The cost of in-process inventory, anything in the system is ignored, that is negligible. So let us look at the first configuration, the flow shop, where we process n jobs through two machines. In this scenario, only two machines are involved, say A and B. Each job is processed, assume that in the order A and B, and the actual or expected processing times are known and represented in the table below. Let us say job 1 to n, at job I, processing time on machine A is AI and machine B is BI units. Maybe hours, or maybe days, or maybe minutes, or maybe seconds. Doesn't matter, but the unit of time doesn't matter, but we are trying to look at how quickly we can process these jobs, so that we need to pick up some order of jobs that is called as a sequence. The problem is to determine the sequence, the order of jobs that minimizes total elapsed time T from the start of first job to the completion of the last job on last machine. Johnson rule or Johnson algorithm is applied, is used for this particular case, processing n jobs through two machines. This is a procedure that finds the minimum elapsed time, that's the make span, when scheduling n jobs on two machines. So the procedure is as follows. First, step 1, find the shortest processing time among all the available jobs. Step 2, if the identified job, the shortest processing time is on machine 1, select it as a first job in the order of processing. If the shortest processing time is on the machine 2, select it as a last job in the arrangement, the sequence of jobs to be processed. If there is a tie, select it either as a first or last in the sequence. Step 3, now there will be, after picking the first job for sequence, then you have n-1 jobs. Continue the same process till all the jobs are arranged or positioned in the sequence for processing. When you are trying to pick up the second job, then if the shortest processing time is on machine 1, that should be placed on the first available position after your previously arranged jobs. So the latest available position from the first, it is positioned for processing, and that will be repeated until all the jobs given in the problem are exhausted. So you will have finally the sequence of the arrangement of jobs for processing. Let us look through a simple example. Let us say 5 jobs are processed on 2 machines, A and B in the order first A and then B. The time is hours are given below. Determine the sequence that has minimum elapsed time, that is the make span, machine idle time, find machine idle time, and also draw Gantt chart, that's for this particular problem. So the processing times given here is in hours. Let us look at how do we go for identifying the sequence using Johnson's rule. The Johnson rule, the first step it is the minimum processing time. Find the minimum processing time among all the jobs available. Now we have the jobs here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A, B are the machines over which all these 5 jobs are processed. So among all these things, the machining hour. The 1 hour is the minimum that is on machine A for job 2. So the minimum processing time is 1 hour for job 2 on machine A. So that is to be arranged as the first job in the sequence. We have 5 possibilities. We have 5 possibilities. 5 positions has to be arranged for processing. The first position it is now job 2. Now reduced matrix after considering the job 2 for arrangement of in the arrangement of sequence, then you left with 4 jobs. So the reduced matrix is now 1, 3, 4, 5. Among this, the minimum processing time it is now the 2 that is on machine 4 on job 4 on machine A. The minimum processing time is 2 hours for job 4 on machine A. Thus, it is the first machine. I will arrange it in the first available position after your previous step. That is, the second job is now the 4th job in the order of processing. The first job we are picking for processing is 2, and the next job it is 4 is processed on machine A first, and then it goes to the machine B. After arranging the job 4, we left with 3 jobs that has to be still arranged for processing, the sequencing requirement. Now, among all this remaining reduced matrix, the 3 is the minimum processing time. 3 is the minimum processing time that is on machine B. So this is a machine B. Place it at the last available position as the job to be processed. So that is the last job we are placing for processing. Now the reduced matrix now it is 3, 5 jobs that has to be processed on machine A and machine B. Here again the minimum processing time it is 4. It is 4 on machine B that has to be placed from the last available position after your previous arrangement. So 3 is placed from the last available position, and only the job left it is 5. So only the position is left here, it is 1 position. So 5 is placed in the available position. Now the sequence of jobs, the arrangement of jobs after we follow the Johnson algorithm, we have 2, 4, 5, 3, 1. So the sequence is 2, 4, 5, 3, 1. Now let us find the total time required for processing this arrangement of jobs. So 2, 4, 5, 3, 1 is the sequence. Those jobs are processed. First we need to process 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 1. And these are processed in the order first on machine A and then machine B. So machine A, the job 2 starts at the 0th hour. Right now let us say the next minute. The next hour, it is given as hours. It is given as in hours. So after first hour, by the end of the first hour, your job 2 is completing the processing requirements on machine A. Then it has to go to the machine B, where immediately it starts. So that the first hour, at the end of the first hour, at the end of the first hour, you are beginning at the end of at the beginning of first hour. 0th hour you are starting, at the beginning of first hour you are ending. By that time your elapsed time is 1 hour. So at the first hour beginning you are starting machine B. Work on job 2, the job 2 requirement of processing on machine B. So it requires 2 hours. So 1 plus 2, that is 3. That is the time required for completing first job, that is job 2 in the arrangement, going through all its processing activities on machine A and machine B. So at the end of third hour, at the beginning of third hour, you are completing your job 2. And similarly, the job 4 is taken immediately for processing after job 2 on machine A at the beginning of machine 1, job hour 1. So by the 2 hours requirement, it will be completed by the beginning of third hour. The job 4 is completing its processing requirements on machine A, and so on, all the jobs in the arrangement. As per the arrangement, as per the sequence, we have just found using Johnson algorithm. So 21 hours is the total time required for processing, that is called as elapsed time. That is also called as max span of this set of jobs. Now, if you try to look at the table here. The machine A is idle only at the end after completing the last job in the sequence. But whereas the machine B is idle, only at the beginning. The total 21 hours of processing. The machine 1 is idle at the end for 21 minus 17, that is 4 hours, whereas the machine B is idle in the middle for processing job 5 for 2 hours, at the beginning 1 hour. The beginning, because it doesn't have any processed job on machine A, so it has to wait. So therefore the job must be processed on machine A and it should come for processing on machine B. That's the order given in the problem. Similarly, look at the fourth job. The fourth job is completed on machine B at the beginning of 6th hour, whereas the next job, which is completing its activity on machine A, is at the beginning of 8th hour. That means at the beginning of 8th hour only the machine B can take up the job. That means 6 minus 2, 2 hours the machine is idle for waiting for the job to be processed, to be available, so that it can take for process. So therefore, the total idle time of machine A, it is 21 minus 17, 4 hours, whereas machine B at the beginning it is 1 hour idle, in the middle of the operation it is idle for 2 hours. Its total idle time. Machine A is 4 hours. This is 4 hours, sorry, not minutes, and machine B it is 3 minutes. Let me correct it. Yeah, it is 4 hours and 3 hours. The Gantt chart is the way of representing the loading of machines. The most popular and useful ways of showing activities or tasks or events displayed against time. On the left hand side of the chart, there is a list of the resources facilities as a vertical axis, and a suitable time scale is used on a horizontal axis. Each job is represented by a bar. Each activity is represented as a bar in the graph. The position and length of the bar reflects the start, duration and end of the job in the Gantt chart. So this is the Gantt chart for your right now the present problem. The machine A starts immediately at the 0th hour and it will be processing the first job. After immediately processing this on machine A, it goes to processing on machine B and it goes on processing. The machine A is idle at the end of your processing activity because the machine B is yet to complete, whereas machine B is idle at the beginning and idle at the middle of your activities just because the machine A is not completing its previous operation, so that the machine B can start its operation. The machine A has to complete so that the machine B can take up for processing that particular job for. Now let us look at another example, but it is in quick fashion. Find the sequence using Janssen rule for the processing time given matrix below of 6 jobs and 2 machines. We have here 6 jobs and 2 machines. So this is the processing matrix given to us. When you try to look at applying the Janssen rule, we have processing time minimum at 2 places. Processing time is minimum at 2 places. For job 3, it is on machine 2. And job 6, it is on machine 1. But it is clearly, if it is given, it is not given, you need to assume in the hierarchical order, that is 1 to 2 as a technological ordering process. If it is given 2 1, you need to pick up in the sense to 1 order of processing. Now it is not given, so it is assumed that it is processed. Each job is processed on machine 1 first and machine 2 next. But both machines has to process all the given set of jobs here. Now, for the 6th job, the minimum it is on first machine, so the 6th job is arranged, positioned as the first position in the sequence of jobs. Therefore, we will have a 6 as the first job in the arrangement of jobs and 3 as the last job in the arrangement of jobs. After you positioning, arranging, now you discard these two jobs and reduce the processing time matrix and look for the next minimum processing time, that is here 3. It is on second machine, therefore it will be positioned from the available position from the last of the sequence, that is the 4 is placed from the last available position. Now the next it is 4 is the minimum, it is on machine 1 and it should be placed from the first available position in the sequence, the next available position in the sequence, that is after 6 it is placed among 2 and 5 jobs. The minimum it is 5, it is again machine 1, so it should be positioned in the available position from the first for processing, that is as a third job in the process. Now only one position left, that is for 5th job. The sequence of jobs, the arrangement of jobs for processing, it is now 6, 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. This is a sequence what we have got after applying Johnson rule. Now calculate elapsed time for processing jobs. The sequence, the arrangement of jobs, it is 6, 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. So we are starting, suppose now it is 0th hour. Now because the 6th job requires 1 hour processing activity on machine 1 and 10 hours of processing activity on machine 2. So therefore, now when you are studying at 0, so by the beginning of first hour you are completing your first machine activity on job 6. Similarly, 10 hours of machining machine 2 activity, by 11th hour beginning you will be completing your processing activity of job 6. By that we have a 1 hour idle time of machine 2. Next we pick up as per the arrangement, the first job, the job 1, that will be completed by 16 hours. Job 3, job 5, the next job, it will be completed on machine A by 20th hour, and 30th hour you will be completing activity of machine B. Job 4, you will be completing the processing activity by 28 hours because the machine 1 is available by 20th hour beginning and it requires the number of hours 8 hours. So 28 hours is by the 28th hour beginning you will be completing your processing activity of job 4 on machine 1, and machine 2 it will be by 33 hours. Total finally by 36 units of time your complete set of jobs will be completed. By that time the machine 1 is idle for 1 hour, in total 36 hours of processing, whereas machine 2 is idle at the beginning and in the last job before starting the last job, it is for 2 hours. So total make span for the given set of jobs it is 36, and when you represent the Gantt chart you can see the hatched portion is representing the idle time of machines. First machine is idle only at the end, whereas the second machine is idle at the beginning and before starting the last job. Let us go back why it is idle before starting the last job. Last job it is completed by 35 hours of time on machine 1, whereas machine 2 is completing its previous job by 33 hours, the beginning of 33rd hour itself. So therefore it has to wait till the beginning of 35th hour, otherwise we can call it as a previous job. It has to completed previous task, that is on machine 1, the job has to be completed on machine 1, its activity. So therefore it is available for processing on machine 2. Remember the maximum of 33 and 35, 28 and 30 is the starting of the job machine 2 activity. Machine 2 is completing its task, let us say the first job it is on 11th hour, but whereas job 2 which has to go for further processing on machine 2 is ready by 5th hour, but it cannot be taken on the machine 2 because till 11th hour the processing activity of machine 2 is on, job 6 is going on. So this job, sometimes job has to wait, sometimes machine has to wait, but in the problem it is asked us to find the idle time of machine. Therefore, we are looking at idle time of machines. So that is the way we try to find the total processing time using Johnson algorithm when you try to process n jobs irrespective of number. If it is a 2 machines, that should be followed for picking the sequence and then finding the start and end time so that you can calculate total time requirement for your processing activity. Suppose in the case we are processing n jobs on 3 machines, we need to follow the following procedure. First step, we need to convert the 3 machine problem into a 2 machine problem. It can be converted if either of the below given conditions are satisfied. Condition 1, minimum time on machine A, minimum time on machine A. Let us say A, B, C are machines to be processed on the given set of n jobs. Therefore, machine A minimum processing time must be equal or greater than the maximum time of among the times available on machine B. So maximum of time on machine B must be equal, or otherwise it should be minimum time on the machine time should be greater than, otherwise maximum time should be lesser than this. Minimum time on machine A must be greater or equal to the maximum time on machine B, or otherwise minimum time on third machine or machine C also must be greater than or equal to maximum time on machine B. Any one of these conditions must be satisfied for converting given problem into a 2 machine problem. Let us see through example. If any one of the above conditions are not satisfied, if any one or both the conditions are satisfied, then we create 2 fictitious machines such as G equal to A plus B, H equal to B plus C. Now the problem is being converted into n jobs 2 machines case. Solve the problem, the imaginary machines problem using Johnson rule and find the sequence of jobs. But when you are calculating the make span, we need to use the original processing time matrix of the jobs on 3 machines. Let us look at through a simple example. 6 jobs are operated on lathe, milling and grinding. The table below gives the processing time requirements of jobs. Find optimum arrangement of jobs, that is sequence, idle time of operations, that is the machine's idle time, and elapsed time of operation. These are all the processing times. Again it is hours. Lathe first, milling and then grinding. That is the order of processing. Given problem is a 3 machine and 6 jobs case, we need to convert that into a 2 machine 6 job case. For that, we need to look at the conditions given here. The minimum processing time of among the minimum processing times of lathe, that must be greater than or equal to maximum processing time among milling timings, and minimum grinding time must be greater than or equal to maximum milling time. Let us look at whether are these conditions satisfied or not. So minimum lathe time, here it is 1 hour, minimum grinding time it is 7 hour, maximum milling time it is 7 hour. The first condition is not satisfied. The second condition, that is minimum grinding time must be greater than or equal to maximum milling, that is satisfying because 7 equal to 7. Hence create an equivalent 2 machine n jobs problem by creating 2 fictitious machines denoted as G and H, where G is lathe plus milling and H is milling plus grinding. So therefore the table is written as imaginary for the imaginary machines G and H by combining the processing times. Now it is a 2 machine n job, that is 6 job here. Apply Johnson rule and find the sequence of jobs. So here look at the minimum processing time, that is 6. It is on machine 1. Job 4 is positioned as the first job to be processed in the sequence of processing. Now after positioning job 4, discard the job and look for the next minimum in the processing time among the available jobs. 7 is the minimum, is again on the first machine, so it is positioned as the first position, first available position after positioning the previous job, the next available position. The next minimum after discarding third job, after positioning the third job, we have 9 at both the places. So first job it is on G machine G. So first job is positioned in the next available position from the first. So that is as a third job. Fifth job is the last available position. And we have left with second and sixth. The minimum it is on first job. So G6 is positioned among the available position from the first position. The next available position, that is as a fourth job. The next job is available only left with us, it is 2, and it has to be positioned in the next available position, that is from the first, it is the only position. Now 4, 3, 1, 2, 6, 2, 5 is a sequence or arrangement of jobs what we have arrived when we apply Johnson rule on fictitious machines after reducing the 3 job machine into a 2 job machine. So now when you try to find elapsed time for the obtained sequence 4, 3, 1, 6, 2, 5, so this is your start and end of times on each machine: lathe, milling and grinding. First 1 hour the milling it is idle, the first 6 hours the grinding is idle. In between the milling is idle 16th to 17th hour, and 18th to 28th hour, 33 to 36 hour, and so on. And finally the total at various positions these machines are idle. And this is the requirement for our finding a idle time of machines. So make span the total elapsed time requirement for these jobs, it is 6 to 9 hours. Idle time calculation: lathe it is only idle at the end, that is 69 minus 36, so 33 hours. Whereas milling at the beginning 1 hour, in the middle 1 hour, 10 hour plus 3 hours, at the end 69 minus 38, it is total 46 hours it was waiting. Grinding it is only the beginning, that is 6 hours at the beginning of activity. So common terminology what we have come across: number of machines, that is termed as service facilities through which a job or an activity has to be processed before it is declared as completed. Processing order is the order in which machines are required for completing the job. If the job, let us say if each job is to be processed first on machine A, then on machine B, and finally on machine C, the processing order is referred as A, B, C. All the jobs must be processed in the given order: first A, and then B, and then finally it goes to C. Processing time, that's the time required by a job or a task on each machine. The total elapsed time, it is called as processing time plus idle time on each machine. The time required from the start of the first activity, first job on first machine, to the completion of the last machine in the last job. Idle time, time for which the machine remains idle during the total elapsed time. The job may also have idle time in between operations. If it is specifically asked for finding idle time of jobs, you need to look at job idle times in the calculations. No passing rule, that refers to maintaining the order in which jobs are to be processed on 2 machines. There is no skipping, that has to be processed on all the machines as per the order. If there is a relaxation, that could be a different problem. For example, if any jobs are to be processed on 2 machines A and B in the order A, B, each job must first go on machine A and then it should be processed on machine B. Thank you. Keep learning, it keeps you young. If you have any queries, please post in our WhatsApp group or otherwise in the comment box of this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.